Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another Kathy Barnette show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Before we begin, let me remind you, algorithms are real. So please, wherever you are listening to this particular podcast, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment and make sure you share. Okay. I'm doing my part of trying to bring original content, having a dialogue, helping each of us think through what it is that we're living through, kind of like iron sharpening iron here. So I need you to do your part. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, with that, let's get to what we're going to talk about today. Last week, we had the first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and the man who is the shell of a man who is sitting there in the White House. Now, how do we know it's a shell of a man? Representative Ro Khanna, I believe that's how I'm pronouncing his name correctly, an official Biden surrogate, said, "We have a great team of people that will help govern. That is what I'm going to continue to make the case for." What is the interpretation of that statement? This is what he's really saying. There is a shadow government in place who you did not elect that is actually running the country. I wrote that on my Twitter. You guys can go to Kathy4Truth, Kathy4Truth out there on Twitter, and you can see this interpretation. So those were his comments, an official Biden surrogate who said, listen, people, don't worry about the abysmal performance of Joe Biden. Don't worry about it. We have a number of really smart people who will actually be the ones who are running the country. Now, I remember this in 2020. I was at a Black Lives Matter rally. Yes, I was at a Black Lives Matter rally because they would not invite me to come and speak. And as most of you know, you cannot get a bunch of Black people to show up at a political event. Generally, I'm a Republican. I'm running in a general election for U.S. Congress. I need to get in front of as many people as possible. You cannot get Black folks to show up at a specific event where they know Republicans are going to be speaking. So at this time, during the summer of love of 2020, when Black Lives Matter and Antifa was burning down the nation, they were having a rally in my congressional district. And I showed up and I'm out there talking to people, shaking hands, all of that kind of stuff. And I remember the NAACP chair for my congressional district was talking to me about why we should support Biden. And I said, the man is not the swiftest. There is something wrong. Do you really think he's going to be running the country? And this to which the head of the NAACP said, Kathy, don't worry about it. They will have people who will be around him who will actually run the country. And he said that to me as if it was supposed to bring comfort to me. And I said to him, so you're okay with a shadow government running the nation? Now, that was back in 2020. Today, right after the presidential debate, and the article will be up for you guys, Representative Ro Khanna, the Indian guy, who is an official Biden surrogate, said, we have a great team of people that will help govern. Interpretation? Shut up. Go to sleep. Be quiet. We have a shadow government, people you did not elect, who will actually be running the country. So everyone should feel so much better because, of course, we're here. And this time is different. We're the ones who are actually running the government. So for those who watched the debate, you will agree with me. That was a painful debate to watch. Donald Trump kind of won by default, right? He looked a little bit more cavalier than I would have wanted him to. He certainly didn't get held up in Camp David as Biden did for 6 days. And that is what we saw after 6 days being held up at Camp David for some intensive campaign prep work. That is what we saw, the fruits of all of that, right? Of him walking away from the country for 6 days, and because he's supposed to be leading the country. So for 6 days, instead of leading the country, he's out at Camp David going through some intensive campaign prep work, and we saw the fruits of all that labor at the debate, and it was painful to watch. I have no soft spot for what Biden is going through. He is getting everything he has ever wanted. He's being abused, elderly abuse. I agree with that. The man is clearly suffering, but I have no sadness for him. I have no tears to share for him. This is the fruit of his labors, all of these years. So let's kind of walk through a little bit of the highlights of what it is that we saw. Adam, can you play video 1 for me?
I saw in him then the same character that I see in him today. And even though he has faced unimaginable tragedies, his optimism is undaunted. His strength is unshakable. His hope is undeterred.
Look at him. Look at that face. If you could freeze that face and blow and enlarge it. That is a man who has no idea what day it is. Has no idea where he is. He is just standing and hoping not to fall, much less someone who is competently governing our country. Who has faith that that face is governing our country, the greatest country that has ever existed? This is how, it's so sad. I would cry if I thought it would do any good. It won't. These people who are led by his wife, I'm sure, who is just power hungry, who's like, we're going to do this, we're going to vote, and we're going to get him back, and he's so strong, and Joe's so amazing. And you look at Joe's face, and there is a man who has no idea what day it is. But we're supposed to be confident. Can you go to video 2? This is what happened immediately after the debate.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
Yeah. It's a couple of things you can get here. One, she's talking to her husband like I spoke to my son when he was 5 years old. You answer all the questions, buddy. You get a gold star. You're so awesome. Again, that's the man who's supposed to be governing our country. And why, oh, why are we not setting our hair on fire right now in alarm? Now, right immediately after the debate, if you're watching it, it went straight to the CNN panel. And all of a sudden, they're all there like, OMG, we had no idea. They want us to believe they had no idea that Biden is Biden, that what we saw on stage is not who they have always known this man to be since getting in office. I saw it. You saw it. Most of us saw the constant tripping while walking upstairs, the constant gaffes, the constant stuttering, the constant wandering off stage, the constant his wife, Jill, having to escort him off stage. Otherwise, he would not know which way to go. Even at the end of the CNN debate, Donald Trump competently walks off stage, and Jill runs up the stairs to get Biden and then has to escort him off the stage one by one. It's one thing for us as Republicans to look at it and to get a warm, fuzzy feeling as the rest of the world now sees, or the rest of the Democrat Party now sees what we have seen and have pointed out. It's nice to, that sense of vindication. The problem is that the rest of the world sees it. The rest of the world has already known this to be. It's just we have a very corrupt media on both sides of the aisle who have suppressed the truth. And people in America have now been trained not to believe their lying eyes. You're looking at this man tripping upstairs as he walks repeatedly, but you have those in positions of authority who are telling you, don't believe your lying eyes. He's not stumbling upstairs. Or we see him having to have a bunny rabbit show him the right way to go, escort him through the crowd. But then you have those in positions of authority come out and say, don't believe your lying eyes. You are not watching a bunny rabbit escort him through the crowd. Don't trust yourself. Your eyes are lying to you. And you have a number of people. I mean, I think it is the natural resting spot for most people to want someone to just tell them what to do. Because the alternative is for you to stay informed, is for you to engage, for you to speak up, for you to read and to learn how to think. And all of that is not only hard work, but especially in today's culture, it could cost you a lot. It is going to cost us now to stand up and speak truth. We had a period of time when we could have built up those muscles that causes us, that when you see an injustice, to stand up quickly and point that out and say, no, not on my watch. But we were lulled to sleep. We, especially in the Republican Party, we like it when someone else is doing all the hard work, when someone else is taking all the bullets, because then we can go on vacation. We can go to the shore. We can hang out with our family. We can have barbecues while we just go in and vote. We throw a couple of dollars someone's way, and then we get to go on about our lives, and we allow, because, we have someone else there, i.e. Donald Trump, to take all the bullets for us. And during those 4 years, when Donald Trump, after he was elected, when we should have been building up our muscles and our tolerance to start showing up at events, to start standing behind our people, to start pushing back, we took comfort in knowing we are the silent majority. Why are you so silent? When we should have been the loudest. We took comfort in knowing we're the silent majority. We will let our voices be heard on election day. But between now and then, we're just going to go on vacation, live our lives, work our jobs, take care of our families, none of which, let me just say, is bad. It's not bad. It's actually a good thing. We work on our side. The other side, they can show up at rallies and build human chains across 4 lanes of traffic because they got nothing better to do. In fact, that is their job. They're getting paid to do that, the George Soroses. They're paying them to show up. And I saw that for myself. I'm on the campaign trail with Vivek, and we're in Iowa, and Iowa passed a piece of legislation that would protect unborn life. And there were a lot of people who disagreed with that, who were there. Fast forward, where was I? I think up in Michigan. I saw some of the same people who do not look like they have the means themselves to travel and to just protest. I saw the exact same people in Iowa, now up in Milwaukee. In the heat, it was so hot. Wherever we were, I think it was Milwaukee. Well, I think it was the one of the first presidential debates. Yeah, or maybe the second presidential debate during the primary at that time, and Vivek was up there. Yeah, so we've been trained to be quiet, allow someone else to fight our battles while we go off and live our lives, take comfort in the fact that we are the silent majority, and we'll show them come election day. That's what we took comfort in. That has not served us well. That strategy has not served us well. We need to be loud. We need to make sure our voices are heard. We need to make sure people understand what is going on, how we feel, the direction of the country, what direction we want the country to go. But here we are, the first presidential debate, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and it is abysmal. It was actually painful to sit there and watch all of that and to think this is the person who's leading our country. But as Representative Ro Khanna has said, which is what I heard back in 2020, Joe Biden is not the one who's actually running the country. There is a shadow government who is running the country, and you all should take great comfort in it. But here you have, immediately after the debate, Democrats now feigning outrage as if they had been tricked, as if those commentators did not know that Joe Biden, I'm not a doctor, but it appears to me he is suffering from some form of dementia. Something has happened to him in 5 short years of when he was running as candidate to who he is today. And yet they sat there pretending like, oh my God, we had no idea. There's something wrong with him. You could tell that each of them had gotten the text message. Take Joe Biden out. That's really what that debate was. That's the reason why it was the earliest debate we have ever had in our nation, is because there's 130 days between that debate and the DNC convention in mid-August. And we need the rest of the nation to come alongside us in asking Joe Biden to step down. So that debate was really what we watched, was a well-coordinated assassination attempt on Joe Biden's campaign. And immediately after the debate, all of the CNN commentators received the same text. Take him out. Feign you had no idea. This is the first time you've ever witnessed that there's something wrong with the guy who's supposed to be leading our country, who's supposed to be in rigorous conversations with Xi Jinping in China, with one of the Ayatollahs in Iran, with Russia, with our allies. We were supposed to believe that prior to last week's presidential debate, that was the man who was holding all of these conversations. There is someone else, whether individual or a group of people, Representative Ro Khanna said it himself, who's actually governing the country. And the manner in which they're governing the country, let's take a look at it. We have open borders. Now they're trying to secure the border because it's an election time. But for the past 4 years, they don't care about you. They don't care about the innumerable number of young women who are being raped and murdered, our sons who are being slaughtered on the street. They didn't care about the fentanyl that's flooding every small town around our country. They don't care about all of these illegals being placed on Social Security, which is already a bankrupt system. But now they're placing illegals on this system that is only going to be the last nail in the coffin for you or I who are up next to retire. They don't care about any of that. It's an election time. You're going to see the numbers go down. You're going to see inflation go down. You're going to see prices go down because it's election time. We have 5 months between now and election, but look at what it was like prior for the past 4 years. We have a shadow government, someone else who's running the country, and you try to say, well, what is their motivation for this country? What do they want for this country? And everything they touch has turned into fecal matter. Donald Trump had another word for it, a more descriptive word for it. But everything these people are touching is turning into fecal matter. It's setting our country ablaze. So looking at what they are doing, looking at the results, I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. I don't think it matters anymore why they're doing it. Just look at the results of their actions. That is what we should look at. And we should be asking ourselves, are we better off or are we worse? And over the past 5 years, I do not believe there's a reasonable human being in America who can say we as a people in this country that we are better off today having this shadow government in place and actually running our country. They are not accountable to us. We, not me, but the people elected, even using that word elected, Joe Biden. But Joe Biden is not accountable to us because Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is. Let's look at the third clip.
I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
He wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for the ability to, for the.
Can we
I did not
right
oppose.
Can we just pause for a moment? Look at the difference in the eyes. This is just 5 years. I mean, is there such a huge, just naturally without dementia or any health issues, major health issues? Is it that much of a drop off from age 76, I believe he was in 2019, versus 81 today in 2024? Is the drop off from the cliff from 76 to 81 so steep that even the shape of a person's eye, even their eye color is different? Look at it. In 2019, his eyes are blue. In 2024, his eyes are black. They are beady. He has a constant scowl on his face. I'm not saying there's a different person. I'm not going down that particular rabbit hole, although I will put nothing past anyone at this point. But assuming this is the exact same person, is the drop off from 76 to 81 so steep that even your eye color changes? Go ahead. Continue.
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Making sure.
Pause one moment. The mumbling, the stumbling, the stuttering. And I had a horrible speech impediment when I was a child. Talk about a stutter. Talk about a stammer. Eyes rolling back in my head. This man has no idea where he is. Continue.
That we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if you will determine the outcome of this election, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
That was pretty classic. When Donald Trump constantly looking like, what are you saying? What's going on here? I don't even know what he's saying. It was so horrible. And again, I know for among Republicans is, you know, a lot of people, not myself, but a lot of people took great comfort. See, we were right. They already know we're right. Stop looking to Democrats and others to approve what it is you're seeing with your own two eyes. I don't need anyone to approve me and pat me on the head and give me a gold star when I said there is something wrong with Biden, with his mental acuity. I didn't need anyone to affirm that. But you see a lot of Republicans since the debate running around, clapping, patting each other on the head, on the backs, like we just won something. We've won nothing. Here's the news flash. Do you seriously think that Biden's lack of mental acuity is enough for Democrats to not vote for him? Do you seriously think, even if they kept Biden on the ticket through November, that man we saw at the debate, that his inability to articulate his thoughts, having to go spend 6 days at Camp David for intensive debate prep on questions he should already know the answers to, him stuttering, him stammering, him staring blankly into thin air, him wandering off stage in the wrong direction. Do you think any of those things will be enough to stop Democrats from voting for him and for getting out the vote and being successful? One answer: John Fetterman. John Fetterman opened up his debate with Dr. Oz in 2022 with "Hello, everybody, and good night." Literally, that's what he said. "Hello, everyone, and good night." That's how he opened up his debate, and he won by a massive number. So while we are taking our lap, patting ourselves on the back, saying what a wonderful job we've done, cutting clips, doing takedown videos, all of that, Democrats are continuing to move forward. They are undeterred. They are undisturbed. They're saying the quiet parts out loud. America, don't worry about it. Vote for Joe Biden. There's a secret cabal. There's a shadow government. We, the elites, we are the smart ones. We are the sympathetic ones. We have a tremendous amount of empathy. We are actually governing the country. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. Just vote for Biden and all will be well. Do you seriously think we've won anything? We still have a very long road to hoe between now and November. And I'm looking at our side and I see us kneecapping ourselves. We have the best story to tell. I used to think we picked the worst people to tell it. And I still think that that's a part of the reason why we keep losing everything that matters to us. But it's something that I said in 2020 that I noticed as a candidate is that my goal in running was to actually win. I no longer believe that that is the goal of all of those in the Republican Party. Winning is not their number one goal. Not all of them, but many of them, enough of them in the Republican Party. Winning is not their number one goal. Control is. Even if it's control over a sinking ship, they're still the ones who are in control. Control matters more to them than actually winning. Now, I don't think they will say that out loud. Maybe many of them don't even know. I think many of our consultants and strategists are highly incompetent people who have no idea. Most of them are not college educated, not that you have to go to college to do anything. We all know that. But most of them have just hung around long enough and have worked their way into strong relationships. And they know how to, when one of them get into a campaign, then they call up all of their friends. They lose that campaign, and then one of them go out, get into a new campaign, and then they call all of these losers over to that campaign. So I think, one, we have some very incompetent people in leadership throughout the Republican Party. This is the reason why we've lost every single election that matters, that we should have won since 2017. But also, there is a group who know exactly what it is that they're doing, and winning is not their number one goal. Something else is, whether it's control, whether it's power, I'll let you decide. But that's my recap for the first presidential campaign or debate. It was painful, and it should have awakened a number of us not to go take victory laps as if the campaign is over, as if the election is over. It's not. We need to, if anything, we should have learned from this. These people are not surprised. They have always known. The deep fake is really in. There's a shadow government that's actually running our nation. And why they're doing what they're doing does not matter as much as the results of what they're doing. The results of what these people have done, mutilating children's bodies, open borders, inflation. I literally went to Wendy's the other day, got 4 drinks, soda water, 1 medium lemonade, 2 medium Sprites, $14. That's all I got. $14. And when I got to the window, a bunch of young black men, and I was like, $14, really? And it was like, yes, it's so expensive. I don't even know why it's expensive. And I said, I know why. Bidenomics. I said inflation. And they was like, yeah, it is inflation, but inflation as a result of the policies of Biden. And they just all stood there looking at me, blinking. $14. So why they're doing what they're doing, who cares at this point? All we should care about is that they're doing it, and these are the results. These are the consequences. Little young girls being raped and brutally murdered by illegals who would not have murdered the little girls had we had a secure border. That's all that really matters. Not the why any longer. We have now surpassed the whys. We should just be focused on getting better people in office. And I do believe, whether you like him or not, and for whatever reason, I do believe it starts with getting Donald Trump elected. Not just Donald Trump, but down the... I know. There are some Republicans I am seriously going to have to hold my nose and vote for. But the alternative to them is just untenable. I think that should be our strategy, making sure that Donald Trump wins down the line. We get as many Republicans in office as possible, work those 4 years like literal hell is chasing after us, get better people, hopefully, in office. But we have a long way to go. That's my recap of the first presidential debate. We'll see if there's another. I don't think Joe Biden is going to be the nominee after the DNC convention this mid-August, but we will see. I don't think it really matters. I think Democrats will vote for Joe Biden as he is today. Even if he gets worse, they will still vote for him. How do I know that? John Fetterman. Okay, everyone, that's it. Thank you so much for listening to the Kathy Barnette Show. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. comment, and blessings. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.